Good evening and welcome to tonight's show. I'm your host, Tina Dawson, the owner of True Blue Designs, and I thank you so much for tuning in. Please like and share and let everyone know that we're on the air. We are streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube. I want to say thank you to all of you who have called and emailed and dropped by to say, hey, where is my Wednesday show? So we are back. We listened. We are back. We have great interviews that are lined up for the remainder of the year. So I am so excited. Fresh content is coming your way. Also, I want to encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the notification bell so that you can be alerted when new content becomes available. Now, before we bring on tonight's guest, I have a huge announcement for everybody. I am so excited about this. So, we have been running the show since the end of 2020, and this year alone, we've had 19 interviews. Well, the special announcement is now True Blue Designs presents The Inside Perspective is now streaming on 13 podcast sites. I am so excited. I wish I had some hand claps. We are now on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Deezer, Amazon Music, and many others. It's a total of 13. So while you're riding in the car, while you're at home cleaning, tune in to True Blue Designs presents The Inside Perspective. That is huge. Our reach has broadened, and I am so happy. So thank you for celebrating with us. I know some of you are happy too. So tonight's guest is Keenan Howard. October is nationally known as Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and it is dedicated to increase awareness of the disease and to raise funds for research, prevention, diagnosis, treatment, and cure. Cancer survivorship is the experience of individuals, family members, friends, and caregivers living with, through, and beyond the diagnosis of cancer. Keenan's mom, Lucinda H. Griggs, passed away on June 22nd, 2008, due to breast cancer. Following her death, her family decided to join the fight against breast cancer by hosting an annual breast cancer walk in her honor, named Lucinda's Walk. This year marks the 11th anniversary of Lucinda's Walk, and her son, Keenan Howard, is here to discuss his family's journey and how the community can get involved. Please help me give a warm welcome to tonight's guest, Mr. Keenan Howard.
How are you?
Hey, Keenan.
All right, how are you? I'm fine, thank you.
You doing good tonight?
I am. I'm doing wonderful.
Well, thank you so much for being on tonight's show. Last year, I attended Lucinda's Walk and had you on the show after the walk. And so I promised you that I was going to bring you back in 2022 before the walk so that we can help publicize the walk. I had so much fun last year meeting your schoolmates from elementary to high school, meeting friends that you are, people that you are still friends with to this day, people who told me stories about your mom and how they remembered her. And it was just a great atmosphere to be in. So thank you so much for coming back on the show and allowing us to talk about Lucinda's Walk.
Well, thank you for having me again, Tina. I really appreciate it. It's just been such a blessing to have this walk and to do this. It's been really, really great and really special. And I'm glad you enjoyed it when you came out last year.
I did. I had so much fun. It was a party with a purpose.
Yes, it was. And that's what we we try to make it. It's just all about fun. It's not a, 6 mile walk, not journey. It's just community, and communion. People come together that pretty much I know from my walks through life, and they
Mhm.
just come out to support, and it's just been fantastic. It's been fantastic. It has been.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's truly a community event
It
because
is.
people from the community, the neighborhood where your mom's house is still at, everybody was involved. So that was awesome.
Right, right, right. Yep. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. Well, also, congratulations is in order. I'm going to put it out there on live air. Congratulations on your retirement. For those of you who don't know, True Blue Designs has been in business for over 13 years. The majority of those 13 years, Keenan Howard has been my UPS driver, and he just recently retired from UPS. So, congratulations, Keenan.
Well, thank you. Now that's has really been great. It's a start of a new chapter. After
Yeah.
many years, it's been a blessing to be able to sit down and
Mhm.
just rest and just enjoy the fruits of all those hard years and labor and work. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm truly enjoying this. And
Well, in the next 2 weeks, you've got to gear up for this walk.
oh
So
yeah,
you can't
oh
chill just yet. You got
oh
to
yeah,
gear up for the
oh yeah,
walk.
oh yes. I have plenty energy for this. Yeah, it's plenty motivation involved. Plenty.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, we're going to start off again by letting you tell the audience a little bit about yourself. They might not have seen the first episode, so just tell a little bit about yourself.
Okay. I like to say I'm proud to say I'm a Grady baby, and people from Atlanta know exactly what I mean. But of
Mhm,
course, I was born at Grady Hospital in Atlanta. I'm from Southeast Atlanta.
okay.
Um, I grew up in Southeast Atlanta, went to elementary school, Skyhaven Elementary School. Shout out to all my Panthers out there. And I left Skyhaven and went to Walker High School, where I graduated from high school. And shout out to all my Warhawks out there. Thank you all for supporting me and just being a part of my life for many years. Upon graduation, I went to Southern Technical Institute. Now,
Mhm,
where they after that they changed the name to Southern Polytechnic
mhm,
State University, and now
mhm.
it's a part of Kennesaw State University.
Right.
So that's where
Mhm,
I went to college at. So I've been in Atlanta, Metro Atlanta, all my life, from
mhm.
elementary school, high school, all to college. Right, just right there in Marietta. So I've been here all my life. For people, from up north, if there are any y'all on the podcast here, I sound country, because this is where I was born and raised. You know what I mean? So proud, I'm proud to say that though. Yeah.
Proud to say it, and you're an avid Falcon fan too.
Yes, exactly. Love the Falcons. Anything to do with Atlanta. Hawks,
Yeah,
Braves. Just very excited. Very excited for the Braves right now, and
yeah.
just loving it. And like you said earlier, with me getting the chance to retire, I get to go to the Braves, Hawks, and
Hmm.
things that I would not have normally been able to do. Yep.
Right,
Yep.
right. So yeah,
Yep.
that's a blessing.
Yep. Yep.
So this on this broadcast, we want to get more in depth about Lucinda, your mom. Tell us a little bit about her and her journey.
Well, um, first of all, she was a single mother of three young men, three boys. Um, and she was, you know, I guess, like we would say, she was a strong black woman, and
Hmm.
and it took that to raise three young men. She was a great influence in my life. She is the person that made me who I am today. And I just want to thank her dearly. Um, she she was strong, she was hard, she was tough, you know. But that's most, you know, black females or mothers that came from our era. All of my
Yeah.
friends that I know with single with you know that had single mothers, they were
Mm-hmm.
all like, you know, they were all like that, and they all was a part of our lives to help us get to where we are today. Um, but with that being said, she was a diva, you know, and like I said, she would, you know, put on her pumps and go to church and go wherever to her social events, and she would look like a, you know, nicely fine dressed woman. You know what I mean? And so, with that being said, you know, like I said, my wife came up with the idea of having this walk in her honor. I can't, you know, to take that claim, but it was my wife's idea. But like I said, if you look at, you know, the first T-shirt design, she had that in mind when she designed the T-shirt. Just
Mm-hmm.
just had some pumps on it, lipstick, just to signify that, you know, that's the type of woman that my mother was. So
She was a diva.
she was a diva. Yes, she was. She was. You know, and you know, so it's great to do this. And like I said, she was a diva, but also you know, she was a great high school basketball player that, you know,
Really?
a lot of people don't know. She went to Howard High School in Atlanta. She was all city, you know, made all city, got a plaque that we still have to this day, and you know, in her honor. So yeah,
Wow.
she was able to come off the basketball court and then become a, you know, a very nice, attractive young lady as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So
Mm-hmm.
yep. So that's, you know, that's in a nutshell, shell my mother.
Did you or your brothers pick up her skill of basketball?
I want to say I did.
Okay.
I think I did. I played a little bit,
You play a little bit.
yeah, yeah, and actually a lot of the women in my family played. My daughters
Okay.
all my both of my daughters played. They were pretty good. I got my middle daughter. They actually won three state championships over at Southwest DeKalb High School when she was in.
Okay.
So she, you know, it passed along. Everybody,
Okay. All right.
everybody. Yep. Hmm.
I was going to say it had to trickle down to somebody.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I'm being a little modest, but you know, I'm gonna give them their props. You know,
I hear you.
we're not gonna talk about me. We gonna pass it on to them. Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about when Lucinda was diagnosed with breast cancer and how it affected her and the family.
Well, like I said again, you know, she was the matriarch of the family, so it was hard. It was hard in the beginning, and I, I want to say, from my perspective, it was,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the diagnosis. It was like you just think it's a death sentence, and you know, so you just go numb, you know, at the first thought or when you first discovered or got
Mm-hmm.
news that you know, she had cancer. And so my first thought, like again, like I said, was it was a death sentence. But what I learned, and I like to tell people, you know, from my experience, it's not necessarily a death sentence. You know what I mean?
Right.
And she went on to fight and battle for another 14 years. You know, so
Wow.
it was great because she was so strong that it eased the pain on me. You know what I mean?
Right.
I seeing her, you know, it changed her life, but it was not as bad because I was able through her. I didn't have to, you know, it didn't affect me as much because she was so strong. Yep.
Right.
Yep. Can we take a break, Tina?
Uh-huh.
Can we take a 2 minute break or so?
Okay.
Okay, please.
Okay.
Okay, hold on.
Everyone, we are speaking tonight to Keenan Howard. His family has created a walk in honor of his mother, Lucinda Griggs. The walk is scheduled for October the 15th in Atlanta, and he will give us the address if you all want to participate. I'm going to put his information on the screen. I'm going to put his information on the screen so that you will have it. He asked to take a break. Um, when people are diagnosed with breast cancer, it doesn't just affect that individual. When one person has breast cancer, the whole family has it. And I can speak for experience because my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer, and just hearing those words come out the doctor's mouth is shocking. It really is. And like you said, it just takes your breath away. And if you don't know enough about it, you would automatically think that, yeah, you know, it's a death sentence, but it doesn't have to be. It doesn't. And with all the knowledge and studies that are out there with physicians, they can now tailor treatment specifically to the individual. So, knowledge is key. And I think Keenan is back, so we're going to bring him back on.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I'm sorry, Tina. I'm sorry.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, we were talking about your mom and how when you hear those words come out the physician's mouth, you automatically think that it's a death sentence. But in actuality, after you gathered the knowledge that you had, it doesn't have to be one. And you said that your mother had went on to live 14 years after the diagnosis.
Correct. And like I said again, you know, she was just that type of individual, that, of course it affected her,
Mm-hmm.
but she didn't display it to us.
Okay.
She didn't display it to us. Now towards the end, you know, she went into remission at some point, and then it came back. Um, and when it came back, I was just so naive in the fact that because she beat it before,
Right.
I just assumed, hey, she was gonna beat it again, and I'm glad I looked at it like that, because I probably would have been, very affected by it, again,
Mm-hmm.
but because I was so naive in the fact that I just thought, okay, my mama beat it the first time, she's gonna beat
Right.
it again. You know what I mean? So, it was, hard to see her, you know, go down and get weaker. You know what I mean? And just that type of thing. But you know, it was one time at the, saw that end when it was getting close to the end, um, when my brothers and I had to care for her. And
Mm-hmm.
she made a comment. She made a comment, and you know, she said, I love y'all, but at this time, she just wished, because we had to care for her, that
Mm-hmm.
she had a girl. You know what I mean? And I guess she felt like, you know, a, 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 a woman or a female probably could have taken care of her better at that,
Mm-hmm.
at that stage in her life. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
but I just remember smiling and said, "Mama, we got you." You know what I mean? We got you. So, but it was, it was hard. And like I said, she was the rock. You know what I mean? When you first met her or meet her, you had this, because she was that type. She was gonna chastise you. You know what I mean? you know,
Yeah.
she was loud, and and you never know what she was gonna say. You know what I mean? So that first meeting, you might be like, you know what I mean? But after you get to know her, she was the life of the party, and just something else. Just something
Yeah.
else. And I wish everybody had a chance to meet her. And I'm sure everybody has that same type relationship with their mother.
Yeah.
Nothing like mother. There's nothing like
Yeah. That's true. Let me ask you this, Keenan. Now that you have been through the process, what was one thing that you wish you would have known um, before?
Well, like I said, again, it just knowledge of the disease, more knowledge of the disease. So we probably could have been more prepared. You know what I mean? To try to um, just take care of her in a better
Mhm.
way. And like I said, again, I just wish maybe that, you know, had I known more, you know, and been able to, you know, just do more with more knowledge, you
Yeah.
know. Yes. But um, that's that's basically, yeah. If I just would have had more knowledge, so I could just be able to, just assure her, and let her know that everything would and was gonna be all right.
Right.
Yeah, yep. So
Yeah. I was just saying before you came back, I was saying, knowledge is key.
right,
Because like you said, it doesn't have to be the end all be all for people. And I was saying that now with the advancement in medicine,
right,
they're now able to tailor different treatments to the specific individual. It's not a blanket treatment. There's so many different ways that you can treat it now.
right. Yeah, and um, you know, what you talking about treatments. One thing too, she had the chemo, and
Hmm.
one thing with my mother, she never lost her hair. And so I was like, again, that was, a great thing, and it was inspiring. You know what I mean? So it gave her, encourage to be stronger too. That,
Right.
the fact she was able to beat that part of it. You know what I mean? And so
Hmm.
those were all good positive signs. You know what I mean? And it actually, like I said, that was really great, because, like I said, she didn't, have the visible signs, with the exception of, the amputation, but that was encouraging to her and me as well.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. And you said did she have a vasectomy when you said the
Yes,
amputation? Okay.
yes. So,
Okay.
but yeah, it was you know, it was very encouraging. Yep. To to
Right.
to see that she didn't lose her hair in that process, and like I said, and it just eased the pain for me as well
Right.
as, I would say my brothers as well. Yeah.
Right.
Hmm.
Well, you're on year 11, and
Okay.
congratulations for that.
Okay.
Uh,
Thank.
what was some of your goals for the 2021 walk that you may have reached?
Okay. Well, like I said, it was, we all had our issues with the pandemic, and
Oh
that was,
yeah. Hmm.
and so the walks were 21 and 20 because of the pandemic, especially 20. I was thinking, because of the pandemic, people were not gonna come out support the walk, and that was understandable.
Hmm.
But to my surprise, we had greater numbers. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
and we it was we just encouraged everybody to be safe, and we with that we were able to order the masks that match the
Mhm.
t-shirts that we wear at the walk, and I think that just encouraged everybody, and and to just you know want to even do more, you know. And like I said, that number, the 20 and 21 numbers were astronomical. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Compared to where we had been, and
Yeah.
I was just so thankful. That people understand what we're trying to do, the cause, and and the support. So
Right.
yeah, so that was a blessing. That was a blessing, and so of course, my goals were to continue to strive to have more people come out, share the walk with us, have a laugh with us, and smile and just have fun. But like I said, we want to try to get the numbers up to 200 people if you can.
Right.
Someday, like I said, I've said before, you attended the walk, so you probably know when I say this for us where the location is. But it's like I said, we started at my mother's house, and it's still
Now
in the
what
name.
now what area in Atlanta
It's
is, southwest,
it's southeast Atlanta, Boulder,
southeast Atlanta? Okay.
right off the Boulder Crest.
Okay.
And so, like I said again, the high school I went to was Walker High School, and
Hmm.
I said my goal one day, rather than you know maybe start at my mother's house like we do, maybe start the walk at Walker High, so we have plenty parking. You know what I
Oh,
mean, and walk from there, to the park, which is it might increase the walk, but it'll just be able to give us the space to support the number of people that I'm envisioning one day of having. You know.
right. If you start at the high school, then you take out that hill.
Yes, exactly, exactly. It's a straight,
The
flat
hill is
walk.
the hill is okay going down, but to get back to your mother's house,
Right,
how in the world? Well, I guess when you're young, you don't really think about it, right? You have all that energy,
right.
but trying to get back to your mother's house, we literally had to lean on each other to get up there.
Exactly. Yes, it's a very large hill. It is. Like I said, when you're young,
Oh,
you really don't. You walk up and down that hill every day, so you really don't think about it. But
yeah.
to be honest with you, after me getting older, it's starting to get to me too. Since the beginning of the first walk, yes, it's a very large hill. I wish I could show everybody out there, that hadn't been to the walk. It's a steep
Oh,
hill. It's very
it's,
steep.
yeah, I think it may be steeper than Cardiac Hill. I did the Peachtree Road Race this year, and they
It-
had Hospital Hill, and they had, I think it was Cardiac Hill. I think it was Hospital
right,
Hill or Cardiac Hill.
right.
And yeah, I think that was worse than
Yeah,
both.
I think it might be steeper than Cardiac Hill.
It,
Cardiac Hill may be a little longer, but yeah, I think Crestdale got that hill beat. It's very, it's definitely steeper.
oh
Yeah,
yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah,
yeah,
yeah. That
yeah,
was funny. I said
yeah.
we gonna if you didn't talk to anybody going down the hill, you were gonna meet somebody new going up it.
Right, exactly. But you know what? You know, it's funny when we did the first couple of walks.
Mm,
We had our car, our vehicle at the park to take everybody back. That wanted to be
okay.
taken back. But after the second walk, everybody was like, "We're walking back." So I stopped having the vehicle because everybody wanted to walk back. So hopefully, they are still be inspired to keep walking back. Yeah,
No, they're going
yeah,
to inspire you to take it to Walker High.
yeah. There you go. And we'll eliminate the hill, have a straight flat walk. Yes,
Oh
yes,
my goodness. Yeah,
yes,
that was funny. That
yes, yes.
I don't remember anything else. That was the highlight, was that
Ex-
hill. Because I had to
ex-
get back to my car. And there
right.
was no other way but to tackle that hill.
Exactly. Exactly. Like you said, going down is a lot easier than coming back
Yeah,
up. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. It was really nice. So tell the audience a little bit about what's in store for 2022.
Okay. Well, hopefully, like I said, again, we can try to get more people involved, more donations, and just be able to help more people, you know.
Right.
And that's our goals. Um, Um, I'm like I said, I'm kind of old school, and my nieces, you know, was like, you gotta change," and so we were able, with the help of my nieces, to become a little technology savvy here, you know, and we're able to register online, you know,
Okay.
other than me, you know, calling everybody, writing everything down on with a pencil and pad. You know what I mean? So my niece was
Yeah, I
like,
get it.
yeah, they were like, oh, you got to step up your game a little bit. So we've able to do that, and so you can go online and you can view, you know, pictures from previous walks. You can go to the Facebook page, and you can see I did a couple of little um, um, writings or just
Mhm.
explanations on the first two walks, and
Right.
my niece want me to have a commentary about each walk from. So
Okay.
we'll put up something each week, you know, on the Facebook page, just something about each walk that we've had in the past. So that's encouraging, and like I said, just to,
Mhm.
you know, get it out there to more people to see what we're trying to do, and that's the, you know, the main thing. Um, Again, like I said in the beginning, we our our goal was to just reach out to Susan G. Coleman,
Mhm.
that organization, Winship um, Cancer Institute at Emory, to give them money, and along the way, um, one of my you know how we are in the hood, we have play cousins, play sisters. So one of my play sisters, Carla Woods, suggested that we you know, start giving back to people that we know that suffering from this disease in our neighborhood. and I
Right.
and when I tell you, that was the greatest idea that we could have had to help us out with this, and it's been just now the biggest inspiration behind the walk, to be able to help someone in your neighborhood that you know that is suffering from this deadly disease, you know,
Right.
dreadful disease, you know. And so Carla came up with that idea, and our first recipient, Adrian Morris, she was a true trooper. She was just, you know, just she was so strong, and she was so tough, and it was just so encouraging to see her fight against this, and it just made me want to, you know, help more people. um Unfortunately, Adrian died, but we was able she was our first recipient, but that the next year, after we honored her, and was able to help her out, the next year at the walk, she was the very first person there, and I just remember that particular year. It was very cold, you know,
Mhm.
and she was, you know, she was sick. She was, you know, she was in remission, but she was, you know, she was fragile, and she was the first person there. She had a bag full of gifts for everybody, and I was like, wow, you know, if Adrian can do this, I know I can do this for till I can't walk anymore. To get up on this Saturday morning, once a year, third Saturday in October, to get up to try to help someone in this
Right.
in
And
this.
what time does the walk start?
Um,
What time is registration? And then what time is the walk?
the registration starts at 7 a.m. and
Okay.
and we usually try to start promptly at 8 o'clock.
At eight
And
o'clock.
at 8 o'clock. Now, we have a few issues with the time. It usually runs a little past 8 o'clock. I'm probably a little long winded, and my brother and his niece probably a little long winded with the prayer. So we could probably start around 8:15, but we try to start at 8 a.m. and we do that. Um, and I came up with that idea because on Saturdays I like to get up, get stuff done, and
Uh-huh.
have the rest of my day. So I
And the
figured,
rest of your day. Yeah.
if we start early, get it done, and then everybody will still have their Saturday to do whatever they need to do to get accomplished. So
Right.
that's why it's so early in the morning. But
Okay.
it works out real well. Like I said again, it's not a long walk, so
Right.
it doesn't take long, to complete the walk. We Of course, we get to the park, and we get down there and fellowship, have refreshments, and just able to talk, meet everybody, anybody new that comes to the walk. I try to talk to them, say thank you, and show my appreciation, and try to take a picture with everybody
Yeah.
that came out to support the cause. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So registration, the date of the walk is Saturday, October the 15th.
Yes, ma'am.
Registration starts at 7 a.m.
Yes.
And at 8 a.m. the walk starts off with prayer
Yes, ma'am.
and remarks.
Right.
And then once that takes place, then the walk begins.
Yes.
The walk is from Miss Lucinda's house,
Yes.
Southeast Atlanta. And then you walk to the park. So how far is the walk to the park?
The walk to the park, which is Glen Emerald Park, on
Mm-hmm.
Boulder Crest, is 0.9 miles.
0.9 miles. So it's not even a mile.
Not even a mile. Not
But
even
it
a
ends up being a mile when you have to go back up that hill.
mile. Right. Exactly. Now that's the true test when you
Okay.
walk back up the hill. But yeah, it's 0.9 miles to the park and 0.9 miles back
Back.
with
Okay.
with the hill.
Okay. And the proceeds from the donations that you take, do all of them go to helping those in the community, or do you donate some to a breast cancer research company?
Yes, we still like I said, we still donate to Susan G. Coleman,
Okay.
Winship Cancer Institute, and
Okay.
and Turning Point Rehabilitation Center.
Okay.
Those are our main three sources outside of us donating to people that's in the community. And
Okay.
so so like I said, that's like I said, that's been the true blessing.
Hmm.
And how do we determine the people that's our recipients? Anyone who's associated with me or associated with the walk, you know, if they know someone that needs some help, and are suffering, and just need some financial assistance,
Right.
that's where the nominees come from, and we are more than grateful to try to help someone. It's not it's not a lot, but you know when it seems like so much when you just see the smile on people's faces, and for me to donate that check, you know, it's just been something else, something special, something that I haven't experienced, in my life, and I just like that feeling.
Yeah.
I
It's
love
it's
it.
it's it's a good feeling to give.
Yes,
It
yes,
really is.
yes, it
You
is.
know, at the beginning of the walk, there were some recipients
Yeah,
from the donations that you allowed to speak, and that was good to hear.
right,
And it's not, to them, one of the ladies was saying that it's not about the size of the donation. It was just the fact that somebody thought of her to even try to help her. It
right,
was her. I don't know what her name was, but it was her and her husband.
right.
So
Yeah, it was at that particular while it was one of my classmates or
okay,
one of our classmates at Walker High. It was
okay,
his name was Joe Peters and his wife is named Tanetta, and
okay.
she's going through it right now. She's been in and out remission and going, so
Hmm.
we've been able to help them, over the last year, with with donations and just moral support as well.
Yeah.
Anything we can do, we try to do it for them. And
Yeah,
like I said,
it really means a lot.
right,
Just hearing people talk and give their testimonies about either like you said, still being in the fight or being in remission, being a survivor. This walk and your family has touched so many people in a variety of different ways. And it's important for people to know that they're cared about.
right,
They're not by themselves.
right,
Because I can only imagine the mental toll that it takes on the the person diagnosed
right,
and the family.
right,
Um, you
right.
know,
Yeah,
they were so grateful.
yeah. And like I said, it was touching to hear him speak. Of course,
Mm,
I didn't know, he what he was gonna say, but it was real touching, and that's what it's all about. You know what I
right.
mean? To help someone out, and everybody, you know, just have a sense of, this is what life is about. What we're supposed to do. If we can, help someone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Family's not only blood.
Right. Right. Right.
You know. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. We need a village to fight, you know, these diseases that are out there, and you know, banding together really helps everyone. The people helping and the people that are receiving. It helps everyone.
Right. Right. And like I said, and I'm sure they see not just me, but everybody has their back.
Yeah,
Their back. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And
They were loved on by everybody that was there. It,
right.
it, it was it was really touching
Right.
um, to see. So let me ask you this right quick before the show ends. I just thought about this.
Okay.
How can the viewers get involved if
Okay.
they want to volunteer, if they want to walk? I'm gonna put your information back up, but how can they contact you? I did go to the Facebook page, and it has a lot of information, and it had the link to register for the
Right.
walk. Yeah.
Right. Right. Yeah. And so, like I said, again, if you would like to, like I said, just help me, set up the preparations,
Hmm.
um, physical labor, which is not hard, but just, you know, some simple as, meet me on Friday night, just to put the tents up, just to get
Right.
preparation, that will be nice, you know what I mean? Just something that's other than just a financial donation, just to make
Right.
sure that everybody, you know, that everything is in place, you know what I
Right.
mean? So it can be successful, So if they want to do that, but of course, like I said, you can go to the link and to the link to provide financial donations, or just come out and walk with them. You know what I
Right.
mean? And you can purchase a T-shirt so we can look uniform. If you want to, or you can just come out and walk. You don't have to purchase a T-shirt. We just suggest that just because we like to be uniform in our walk, but you don't have to do that. But just come out and support us, and you know, if it's something that you suggest or you think that we can do that'll make it better, please call me, let me know. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm striving to do, to make this the best thing that I possibly can make. And like I said, it would be nice, and I said this before, to have my mother's name synonymous or just as significant as Susan G. Coleman. You know what I
Right.
mean? I would like to say, you hear Lucinda H. Griggs, and it's associated with a breast cancer walk and trying to do things for the community and
Right.
and to help people out, that has suffered, and families that has went through this you know this process. I found out that it's probably everybody or I know that have have someone in their family that's probably
Yeah.
has went through this. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah.
If not in their family, everybody has been touched
Right.
by the disease one way or the other, whether it's a coworker, a family member, or you can play 6 degrees of separation. You
Right.
know, everybody somehow, some way has been touched
Right.
by
Exactly.
the disease. Yeah, yeah,
Exactly. So yeah. So that's where we at. Like I said. So anything you would like to do to help us out, please let us know. We definitely won't turn you away. Yeah.
So for the viewers, you got registration, you have setup, you have breakdown.
Right.
The walk is only 0.9 miles times 2, but you will get your cardio in.
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
I thought
Exactly.
it was nice too that you had, there was a young lady in a car, and she was, kind of riding with us
Right.
just in case something happened, and somebody couldn't make it. They needed to get in the car because they were bringing some people back
Exactly.
um, up
Exactly.
the hill that couldn't really make the
Right.
hill. So you
Right.
even had
Right.
runners like that
Right. Right.
at the
Right.
walk.
Right. And that now that that you mentioned that, I'll be remiss to not mention Miss Gibson, and that's one
Mhm.
of the persons that we took back, and she's another person that's been very inspirational in this walk. She's usually the first one to respond, and she's just been there since day one. We were able to help her out. My daughter is like a daughter to her,
Mhm.
and my daughter suggested we help her out one year, and and she just been so great in this fight with us. And so I just want to hopefully Miss Gibson is looking and out there. Just want to let her know how thankful I am for her to be with us on this journey. Yep.
Yeah, and when I spoke to her, I think it was yesterday, she was so excited. And for
Right.
those of you who do not know Miss Gloria Gibson, you can get to know her because she is going to be our guest next Wednesday on the show. She is a breast cancer survivor, and she is going to come on and share with us her journey and tell her testimony, tell her life history about it. And so the next 2 weeks are going to be breast cancer survivors. And I just want to thank you for reaching out to them because I think it's good for the audience to hear from people and to hear firsthand, their journey with it.
Right.
And, you know, they were both taken back that you had even asked.
Right.
So yeah,
Right.
so they're excited about. I had to calm the nerves, but they're excited about being on the show. So the next 2 weeks, we're going to have breast cancer survivors come on the show and actually talk about their journey.
Right.
And I think that is awesome. And I just want to say thank you for giving them the platform and giving them to me I
right,
really trusting me with them.
right, right,
And I know how
right,
close they are to you. So yeah,
right, right. And you know, like I said again, people like Miss Gibson and Keisha, they just inspiration. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And I'm sure after they tell their story, they're gonna be an inspiration, not only to me, but to other people out there
right,
that you know, and give them hope. You know,
yeah,
and just let them know that it's not the end of the world. Yep,
right,
yep,
right.
yep, yep.
Well,
So
I hope this platform has been able to spread the word about Lucinda's walk, and really get the word out there. The next two interviews that are going to come, you can use those interviews on your site, right? Because they are people who have benefited from your walk. So
right, right.
that's more resources for you. And I don't know if you heard the news that the broadcast is now on 13 podcast streaming sites, and they're international.
Right.
So if that doesn't help, you just never know where the blessing is going to come from, Keenan. So
Exactly, exactly.
we got to do all that we can. Before
Right.
we end tonight's show, is there a couple of things you want to leave, if there's some information you want to leave with the viewers, some last thoughts?
Um, just just I just want to let everybody know, um, I'm thankful for being able to provide blessings to people. I just
Right.
want to let them know that this walk has been a blessing to me. It's one of the biggest blessings that I could have ever had in my life. And I just want to let people know I'm thankful for them to support, and let's just try to keep this fight going, encourage other people, you know, to help out, you know, not just, with this, but just help in other areas of life, and just be, you know, a blessing to someone and for someone, So
Right.
that's basically my thought, and and my wish for everybody. Yep.
Okay. And I was going to also add that I think this is a great way for your family to keep your mom's memory alive.
Yes. Yes.
And I just wanted to say to the viewing audience that, if there's anyone out there that wants to do the same thing, Keenan's information is streaming or scrolling at the bottom of the screen. And I'm sure you can reach out to him. He's got his email, his cell phone, and he can tell you how he put it together. I think that's a great way to keep people's loved ones' memories alive, is to honor
Right.
them in that way. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Like I said, if there's anything I can do to help anyone in any way, please reach out to me. I'm here. Here. Like you said, I'm retired now, so I got plenty of
You have the time now. Now there's no excuse for this thing, for Lucinda's walk not to grow.
exactly. Exactly.
Right, right, right.
Yep.
Yeah. See, so
That's
your wife birthed it, and now you gotta fuel it.
right, right. And that's my plan, to keep it going forever. Yep. Yep.
But Keenan,
Yep.
thank you so much for being on tonight's show. And once the show gets uploaded to the podcast, I'll tag you in some of those, so that you'll know where you can go. But it's going to be on, I know, 13, and then we're
Okay.
going to add Apple Podcasts before the
Okay.
end of the week. Yeah, before the end of the week. And
Okay.
that's going to open it up to a lot more podcasting sites. So I just want to say, I won't be able to attend this year's walk,
Okay.
but I will be making a donation. And I just want to say congratulations to you and your family
Okay.
for another anniversary of Lucinda's walk.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for giving me this platform, Tina. I really appreciate you, and it's you, and have been a blessing, to
Thank you.
give us this opportunity. to share with everybody what we do, what we're trying to do, and what we're trying to accomplish. So again,
Okay.
thank
Well, anytime
you. All
you
right.
need me, I'm only a phone call away.
And, and I know that, and I will reach out to you. I really will.
Well, you hold on, Keenan. To the viewers, I want to say thank you so much for tuning in tonight, and all of the information that is streaming on the bottom of the interview, you would be able to replay the interview, and actually, if you missed it, you'll be able to get it once you replay the interview. And it's going to be on Facebook, and it's going to be on our YouTube channel. So I want to say good night to everyone, and we will see you next week, same time, same place. Good night.
Bye bye.